Yo, what is up, guys? And we are back for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and judge me not by my 1.2 million Zenny. So ridiculous, but the easy A's for Rosie, Kakunsa, and of course Ribrianne have rendered me completely broke. So definitely be grinding some Zenny today. But what I want to do first for you guys is sort of follow up on the fact that we are getting 10 new stages of Super Battle Road. Very, very exciting. I'm sure you've all heard at this point. I definitely tweeted it out. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter if you'd like. The link is always in my description, or at least my name and my Twitter handle is in the description. So go ahead and check me out if you would like. No pressure, but I am pretty active on Twitter. Anyway, what I want to do for you guys, this is going to be a long video, and you guys can go ahead and feel free to skip around if there are any teams you are unsure of, but these are kind of some team builds that I want to do for when these stages drop. And they're basically going to be just this. I'm probably just going to run right into the event with these teams, or maybe just some slight modifications. There is, for some of the teams, there's a little bit of leeway. For some of the other teams, not so much, right? This is one of the teams where it's like there's not so much leeway, right? So this first stage, let's just go right down the line. This is reps of Universe 7. Now, obviously, these guys are going to be your best choice. The other choice you would have is this guy, right? Reps of Universe 7. There are some free-to-play options as well. There is like a free-to-play 17, a free-to-play 18, and then a free-to-play UI Goku. To be honest with you, I did not include them. None of them Dokkan Awaken. I would not recommend running them. If you have any other option, I would recommend running that option. Or even try to make some sort of Realm of Gods team with this guy, or you could probably do a Pure Saiyans team. Like if we look, you could probably do like a Pure Saiyans team. Let's find Reps Universe 7 real quick. Pure Saiyans with Evolution Blue Vegeta, right? If I could find it. Where's Pure Saiyans? Here we go. So we'll do Pure Saiyans and Reps of Universe 7, if I can find Reps of Universe 7. Here we go. So we'll do a full match. It looks like you would have just enough, right, to make a full Pure Saiyans team, so you could go boom, 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 boom. Not ideal, but I think you could get it done more so than just trying to fudge with like a free-to-play leader for the team. And if you don't, just keep in mind, the 6-year anniversary is coming up. I mean, sort of, kind of soon. But just do your best, right? There's a lot less leeway on this team. So let's just go ahead and unselect Pure Saiyans here. If we look at Reps of Universe 7, it's just not a super diverse category. Honestly, this guy is actually quite a solid unit. The only problem is he debuffs superclass allies. He's the only extreme unit on the team, right? So that's just kind of annoying. This guy they've given out for free. This guy is ridiculous. So he essentially has 300% attack. It's a little higher, actually. 300% attack and defense, gives himself 3 ki. The only thing he does not have that he's not going to fit in well on this team is he does not have Tournament of Power. Remember, he did not fight in the TOP. He was only in like the preliminary stuff, right? And then he, fell asleep and this and that, couldn't take the test, that kind of thing. So he does not have that link, but he gives himself 3 ki, but he's got a 50% chance to dodge, medium chance to stun, and 300% attack and defense. He's ridiculous, right? He's going to be a really, really good choice. So I'm just trying to see who else. Oh, this is definitely one you could... He's the one I'm thinking about bringing over her, but I just wanted a little bit of type diversity, right? I wanted to bring a tech unit because there are some AGL opponents, so... And then again, you could definitely run this guy if you don't have the LR UI, but obviously, like, basically 10 times out of 10, you're running this guy if you have him. So, I don't think there's really much else to cover. Just, if you have this, hopefully you have Goku and Frieza. Honestly, that is going to be helpful, and if not, hopefully you have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. He is newer, but remember, he's a full year old at this point, so he's been on a few banners, so hopefully you guys have him. You can at least run the category. So, moving on, let's go ahead and move on here. And if you guys have any questions about team building for any of these stages, just drop a comment in the video. Also, keep in mind that a lot of these units are going to benefit. Actually, 100% units or 99.9% of units are going to benefit from the link leveling update, right? So, you know, all of these Wicked Bloodline units included. So a lot of these guys have, well, several of these guys have big bad bosses, right? So that's going to help them a lot. This is the next stage, and this is the Wicked Bloodline stage, led by Cooler. So now he is not a true Wicked Bloodline leader, but kind of he is, right? Because he's got this Terrifying Conqueror's leader skill, and basically all of the Wicked Bloodline units also have Terrifying Conquerors, basically, right? I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure. We'll just say conservatively 99% of them do, right? So STR Cooler, again, definitely going to be your best choice as leader. You could, of course, if you don't have Cooler, again, hopefully you do. Hopefully you prioritized summoning on banners that he was on, or at least you picked him up with the red coins. His leader skill is still ridiculous. Probably tops in the game between, you know, Terrifying Conquerors and Transformation Boost. I think you could possibly make the case for, like, that Majin Buu Saga Battle of Wits, but, you know, this guy's just a TUR, right? So full level 10 links, that's obviously going to help him, particularly with this link, right? Big bad bosses. Gonna really benefit him. Now, this guy, dude, this guy is going to be ridiculous for this Wicked Bloodline stage. To be honest with you, I think they made him for this stage. This guy gets guard active when you are up against a Goku. Yeah, see here, right here. Guards all attacks, and he also becomes a support unit, which means he also powers up himself, right? When there's a Goku's family category enemy, and he reduces damage received by 50% when guard is activated. So, throughout the duration of this stage, you're up against basically only Goku's family enemies. So he's going to be guarding the whole time, and when he guards, he gets 50% damage reduction. That's ridiculous. And he becomes a support unit, and he's got attack and defense 100%. Dude, he's ridiculous. He's a must run, and this guy is completely and utterly free to play, right? You just have to complete his Extreme Z area, right? Don't try to run him uneasy aid, but, you know, you can definitely, I mean, I would highly recommend you run him. You know, his stats be damned. Yeah, he's got free to play stats. Who the hell cares, man? And he lowers attack, dude. That's really good. And he infinitely stacks attack. Anyway, that guy's a must-run. You could easily run any single one of the Golden Friezas. I chose Agl Frieza. He just seems to be a little bit better defensively, right? He's got that monster 90% damage reduction. You're not really counting on him to super attack. Yeah, he gets attack and ki too when you get him 4 or more ki spheres, but that's not really why you're running him. You're running him for that 90% damage reduction. So you could run him. You could run Tech Golden Frieza. Honestly, you could run Int Golden Frieza as well. Remember, Int Golden Frieza infinitely stacks defense and is a target Goku support unit. Or, excuse me, yeah, support unit. What am I doing? Okay, moving on. Full Power Frieza. So, you guys might not have this guy, but I think that if you do, he certainly kind of becomes like a must-run. He's just going to do lots and lots of damage for you. And we do have a little bit of support here, so if you can get him on rotation, just try to make sure you get him his 18 ki, right? That's going to be important because he does sacrifice HP. It's just pretty obvious, right? Like, you want to get him his 18 ki super. That is what he's meant to do, just shell out ridiculous amounts of damage. I guess we can take a look real quick. Let's just look at Wicked Bloodline just, you know, quickly. We'll get rid of you, and then we'll do this. Let's do URLR. Let's change all. So there's a very big variety of units that you can use. I mean, this guy is completely free to play. He's an AoE unit with an active skill. He's honestly, he's ridiculously good, especially when you're up against 2 or more enemies. And when the target is in defense down, he's going to get an additional, what is that, 60% attack, right? And what's awesome about that, I believe is it this link here? Strongest clan in space. All enemies defense minus 10%. So if the opponent is in defense down, he's going to get that extra attack buff. And then if he has Big Bad Bosses active, you know, which he does at all times at link level 10, I mean, dude, he's going to shell out ridiculous amounts of damage. He's definitely a very good option. He's going to do ridiculous damage. So I might consider including him on the team. I just wanted a little bit of type diversity, so I decided to bring him, right? But you can see, man, I mean, this is a pretty diverse team. I guess there are quite a few units on it, right? Like, you do have a lot of options. Now, unfortunately, a lot of them are, like, the same named units. Let's see who else. Probably wouldn't recommend running him. He's only got that TOP link. And he does have a revival, I guess. It's really not that useful of a link. I guess you could link him up with this guy or this guy. But the revival is not going to be overly useful. It's not an overly useful link on this team. So, anyway, this guy kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit. He does fit in well on the Fizz transforming Frieza's team, right? So anyway, moving on. Okay, you got Golden Cooler. He's going to be a really, really solid support unit. He really, really starts to shine when you have a lot of Dragon Ball Heroes allies on the team, where he gets a lot of additional attacks. So he becomes a lot better when you're basically running him on a Dragon Ball Heroes team, right? And we will come back to Dragon Ball Heroes here in just a minute. This is the true leader of the Wicked Bloodline team, and honestly, he's still a good choice, dude. You guys notice he's 170 all the way around. That's really good. I mean, it doesn't really get much better in terms of TURs. 170 key 3, man, it doesn't really get much better than that. So the only problem is he's certainly aged quite a bit, right? If you have him at high link levels, specifically if you have this link at link level 10, I think he's definitely runnable. Like, he's not like complete trash or anything like that, but he's just aged quite a bit, right? So you can see at the rainbow level, he's only got 15k attack. That's not really that much. He does have a pretty fair defensive stat, so he does lower attack and defense. Again, he can be useful, and of course he's got his transformation when your HP falls below 50%. So coming up soon, this guy will get his Dokkan Awakening. He's actually pretty damn good. This guy, if you don't have Cooler, this guy's a very, very good option, right? So attack's effective against all types when there's a Goku's family enemy. And he's lowering their attack and defense, right? I mean, that's really, really good. That's really good. He's got a medium chance, or excuse me, launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. You know, you combine that with infinitely stacking defense, man, he's a really solid choice. If you don't have STR Cooler, the only problem is you cannot run them on the same team. You know, this guy's an AoE unit. Like, you guys can see, like, you've got quite a few options. This should be an easy win for you guys. Moving on. Now, this team, we all know how fun the crossover category is, right? So this is the Time Travelers stage, but I just decided that let's, you know, fuck it. Let's just run a crossover team. Like, the crossover team is ridiculously strong. It's so fun to run, right? So let's not do crossover. Let's look at Time Travelers, right? The reason why I'm not running Time Travelers, like, honestly, is this guy. This guy is garbage, and I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Like, he's got a really, really good transformation. He's got a really cool super attack as well, but man, he greatly raises defense, which sounds great, right? Like, that sounds awesome, but he's got no defense in his passive, and it just really starts to become an issue, right? So unless you get him like 100 super attacks, dude, he's just not really cutting it defensively. And you guys know category Super Battle Road is pretty unforgiving. So I mean, he's obviously, like, if you had no other choice, I'm sure you could get it done, and you could just combine a lot of these crossover units, right? So, but let's go to the crossover team real quick. So we'll go over to crossover, and remember, basically all of these units are on Time Travelers. So we've got the leader here in Vegito. If you didn't pull Vegito, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you could run Thickness Toa, right? The Int Goddess Demon Toa as your leader, and just run a full Dragon Ball Heroes team. So many good units on this team, on the crossover category specifically, and they're all, well, except for him. He's not a time traveler, right? He probably, I guess you should make the case he should be. But most of these units are on time travelers. Everyone basically except that guy, right? But he's good in Super Battle Road. He really is. He hits super hard, and he actually fits in quite well on the crossover team. But you've got Super Saiyan 4 Broly, right? So yeah, he is definitely a time traveler. So you pair him next to Vegito, I mean, it's lights out, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, he's a time traveler as well, correct? Ooh, yeah, that's really, really good. And he's on crossover. This Bardock, if you have him, he'd be a great choice for that team. A really, really ridiculous tandem you guys saw here. This guy right here actually is pretty damn good. I actually do have full dupes open for him. I just need to feed him 3 more Kais. But dude, he starts to get ridiculously powerful when you've got 3 or more crossover category allies. So his passive, he's got this attack and defense 160% when ki is 6 or more. And then he's getting ki +2 when your ki gets up to 10. So he's basically supering at 10 ki, right? That's all that means. And then he gets this additional 60% attack and this medium chance. Like, he starts to hit really, really hard, do a lot of damage. And then you pair him up with this guy here, and they share like a full link set, basically. So this guy guards all attacks when there is another Dragon Ball Heroes category ally attacking in the same turn. He recovers HP. Like, this guy's actually really, really solid. As much as I memed him when I was summoning on the Dragon Ball Heroes collab, he's actually pretty damn good. So he's going to be a really, really good choice. She can give you a full heal, not to mention she's an awesome support unit. She's ridiculously powerful. She also seals and lowers attack. Like, she is really, really good. This guy was not featured in this last batch of Dragon Ball Heroes units, but this guy, for a time, he was actually considered maybe one of the best TURs in the game. So if we look at what he does, immense damage with a high chance to stun. So immense, right? All of these Dragon Ball Heroes units do immense. And this guy has a high chance to stun. So he guards against all attacks. He gets 50% attack when performing a super attack. So remember, he's going to benefit a lot from support units. And then he gets damage reduction, 7% per Dragon Ball Heroes category ally on the team. So he's going to guard and have 35% damage reduction. That's a ridiculous combo, right? So you guys can see, man, there are a lot of options for time travelers. If you don't have anyone else, I bet you have a copy of Time Traveler's Support Mai. I've seen it done with her as leader. So she's a 120% leader. And she's a damn good support unit. She's like 40% attack and defense and 3 key. She's like ridiculous. One of the best support units in the game for one of the best categories in the game. Anyway, guys, let's move on because we still have quite a few teams to go. I'm going to try and speed it up here. This is a good one to kind of speed it up on. This is Universe 6. Now, if we look at Universe 6, man, there's not a whole lot of other options, right? So if I could frickin' find Universe 6. I'm so bad still at finding these categories, right? Okay, I found U6. So here we go. There's not a lot of options. Like, you're not probably, unless you have no other options, you're not really running Champa. He is a good support unit, but that's basically it, right? 40% attack and defense and key 2. And then he gets a medium chance, which is not very good, of getting attack 200%. And honestly, just a lot of these units, just you lose room for him on the team. Like, I don't find room for this guy on the team. I got this guy fully rainbowed and pimped out and stuff, and he's just, I'm never probably going to use him. He actually has kind of a busted kit. So the only thing that is missing, so yeah, he like lowers attack and defense. He's got a high chance to stun. He gets attack 120 when performing a super attack, plus additional 80% and super effective against all types when the target enemy is stunned. Like, he's got a really good kit. There's one thing that's missing. I mean, you guys know what it is. He's missing defense. He has no defense in his passive. That is a big problem in today's day and age. So unless you just completely keep him hidden, he's going to take monster amounts of damage. So other U6 unit, there's not a lot here. This guy, he's decent. He's just reversed currently. But, like, he just kind of gets lost here. All he does, the only thing that he really does in his passive, so he gets 60% defense. It's like whoop-de-doo. And he's got a medium chance to do a one-turn stun. That's not really cutting it. Like, he just kind of gets lost here. Again, if you have no other options, I guess you could bring him along. But honestly, you would just rather run basically any other unit. I mean, this guy even. You could even make a case for running this Boda Magetta, right? But again, I probably wouldn't recommend it because he doesn't get this guard unless your HP is 80% or below. So he can be good for sure. Like, he can be good if you're rocking low HP. But I think that mostly what you want to do is rock a team similar to what I have. Just run the U6 girls, especially with these two girls having their easy A's. She is ridiculous, dude. Raises defense by 60% for 3 turns. That is so strong. That is so ridiculously strong. High chance of evading enemies' attack. She gets attacks effective against all types when there's a Kale. Remember, that includes someone like Berserk Kale. That includes Kale and Caulifla. Like, look, Kale and Caulifla are not even on this team. You could easily just swap out Kale and Caulifla and Vados, but I just want a little bit of support, right? That, you know, and she seals and other things, so I just decided to keep her on. Maybe I will switch her out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But she gets like a zillion additional attacks when you're up against pure Saiyans or Universal Survival Saga. So she's like really, really ridiculously busted. And then she guards when there's a Caulifla. You could easily just rock her and then her. She's going to be dodging in 100% of this fight. You're up against a lot of Universal Survival Saga in this stage. So she's going to be getting a 100% chance to dodge. Honestly, guys, this should be an easy clap. assuming you at the very least have one of these gals, right? Like if you have Tech Caulifla, you could easily just run her as the leader if you don't have Kefla. I wouldn't blame you if you don't have Kefla. She's only been on one damn banner. I've only got her just at 55%, right? So I would not blame you if you don't have Kefla. But if you just run her, or if you run her, she's a Peppy Gals, right? Or Pure Saiyans. You could easily get it done with a Pure Saiyans lead as well. But guys, U6 is pretty easy, pretty straightforward. She gets damage reduction too. She's good, man. You stack a Whis on top of her 60% damage reduction. She's basically got 100% damage reduction, so she's not going to be taking any damage. Really, really good. And she's going to be doing 1,000,000 attacks. So this is Movie Heroes. Now, this one is pretty straightforward to me. Like, we've got a lot of top-tier LRs on this team. We've got this guy, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. If you don't have him, he's not a must-have. I've said that time and time again. Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku is going to help you. He does either greatly raise defense on his 12 key, or he lowers attack and defense and seals on his 18 key. So that's obviously really, really good. Either way, it's really good. Now, these guys are interesting. This guy here, this Trunks, and then this Goten. If you link them together, they share the exact same link set, and they have 70% damage reduction, and they're shelling out like 2.5, 3 million attack stats. They are absolutely absurd if you get them on the same rotation. They're not taking any damage. And you are up against movie bosses. The whole entire fight, you're up against movie bosses, presuming you don't take out the leader, like the main opponent on these stages. This guy's going to have 77% damage reduction, dude. This guy's a must-run on this stage. If you have him, which I would wager you have at least one copy of him, he's not going to be taking any damage, and he's going to be sealing for you. So he's going to be a really, really good option. And then I would just go ahead and run Gogeta. I like this guy as a leader, but I don't think this team necessarily needs a key 4 leader. Like, they have a lot of key, right? So some other options, I mean, there are a lot of options. I guess we can just look quickly. Like, I want to go a little quicker here. I know I'm going very slow. But, like, if we look at, I know it's right around here, Movie Heroes. So if we look, I mean, certainly, like, you could bring the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. They seal. They also give everyone, what, 4 key and 50% defense, and they also lower enemies' defense, which is, 70%'s a lot, right, just when they're on rotation. This guy, at his best, he's got a 70% chance to stun and a 70% chance to crit, so if you don't have Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, this guy's a very, very good option for you. Obviously, we know the Resurrection F Goku and then the Attack Vegeta, man, they are ridiculously powerful. Look at that, man. Like, I didn't even include a unit like LR Gohan and Goten. Like, they could easily be run. They're a nice free-to-play option. They definitely lower attack. Like, they've got a medium chance to evade. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I should probably rainbow them. I think I was low on orbs at the time, or lower on orbs, right? So I decided not to. This guy's got a high chance to stun. Remember, he was just featured on the Double Rates banner. You probably pulled more than one copy of him. Int Gogeta, when he gets his EZA, he'll be a really, really good choice for you. But you could easily, rock STR Gogeta. He lowers attack and defense. He gets extra attack on Rainbow Key Spheres. He's really solid. I mean, this monster, need I say anything more? Remember that this guy, you can easily run him in Super Battle Road. Just run him in the 3rd slot, where he's got that 50% chance to dodge. But Movie Heroes is one of the tougher stages. People have considered this to be like the new Realm of God stage, where you're just up against 4 and 5 enemies the whole entire time. So just be careful when you're running this stage. I think you shouldn't have too much trouble. There's enough here to where you could, I think you could get it done. Even this guy like Tapion, he gets 50% damage reduction. Like, he's solid, man. Like, he is good. And he does have, of course, that transformation, right? That giant transformation into Harudagar, where he's indestructible and does lots of damage. So Movie Heroes shouldn't be too much trouble for you. Again, if you need help, go ahead and let me know. So we have Goku's family. Oh, dude. I mean, this one I don't even really need to go over, I feel like, but we will just for the sake of the video, right? So Goku's family, easily, I mean, you could maybe say Pure Saiyans, but I think Goku's family may be a very close number 2 of just diversity. This team I have here is just pure LR power, right? This guy's going to have 58% damage reduction and a medium chance to stun, because we're inevitably going to have him next to a Goku, right? So unless, for whatever reason, he was on rotation with this, there's just a lot of Gokus on this team, right? So, but if we wanted to change, like you guys can see, man, there is a ton of diversity. If you don't have all these LRs, like, I mean, you can easily rock a lot of these units. Here's this guy again. Like, he's a really, really good choice. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken going to be a good choice for you. Just make sure you rock, like, a damage reduction item with him before he builds up his attack and defense. Namek Goku, same thing. Like, he can definitely be solid. And then when he transforms, he can get really, really good. So he can get a... he can guard against all attacks. He infinitely stacks defense. He's got his rage mode. He's not a bad option. Like, he's not a bad unit. I just wish he were just a tiny bit better, right? For considering the moment of the show, that is. So, but moving on. This guy, he'll be getting his EZA pretty soon, but he's still not horrible. So he does provide key attack and defense, and he does have a medium chance to evade. He's a bit of a high risk, high reward type of unit, but he does have a rare chance to stun, and then on his 18 key, he provides everyone an attack buff. He's not bad. I wouldn't necessarily... He might be kind of on the lower end of choices. This guy's going to do a lot of damage for you. Probably wouldn't recommend running him. If you pulled Tech Gohan, I think basically almost every time, 9 times out of 10, you're running him. I haven't got Goku. A lot of you might not haven't got Goku. He's going to be really, really good to run. He's got a 50% chance to dodge, 50% chance to crit. And when you have a lot of pure and hybrid Saiyans, look at all that attack and defense he's getting. So he's going to be hitting very, very hard. If I think I'm probably going to link him up with this. Oh wait, where'd he go? With this guy, if I can find him. This guy here. They're going to share a lot of pertinent links. You know, they're going to have Over in a Flash. They're going to have Kamehameha, Godly Power, so Legendary Power. They're going to be linking up really, really well. 4 links or so. So that'll be a solid rotation. Obviously, he's got that 70% chance to dodge. B-Pan, man, she's going to be a good choice too. She's got this chance of stunning the enemy. And then, what does she do here? Yeah, and then a medium chance to stun on her 18 key. And remember, she super attacks early. She gets her Ultra Super with 15 key. She recovers 1/3 of damage dealt as HP. So that is really good. Dude, High School Gohan, like, look at how many units you could easily run on this team that are just top tier. Top tier. This guy here, really, really good. Future Gohan, really, really good, and actually a pretty good support unit. This guy is getting his EZA on Christmas. He becomes a ridiculous, just incredibly powerful juggernaut, right? I did manage to finally get him to full link level 10, by the way. But you guys can see, man, there are a lot of options. Again, you've got AGL Bardock. Like, you guys know, like, sky's the limit for this team. Now, Vegeta's family is a little bit different, right? Vegeta's family, not nearly as diverse, unfortunately. Not nearly as many, like, top-tier LRs. But we have this tandem of this guy, the Black Mask Saiyan, and then the Dark Mask King. You get these guys on rotation. Again, they're sharing the same exact link set. I think they have the exact same link set, or it's very close. Do they? Yeah, they do. They have the same exact link set. Does he have prodigies? No, loyalty. So that's the one. They're sharing 6 of 7. So that's really, really good. I should probably level their links up a bit. But you guys know, man, there are a lot of choices. Like, if you don't have Vegeta, like Super Saiyan 4, this guy's probably your best option as leader. He's decent, right? He's okay. You are going to be up against a lot of Goku's family. So he is going to, at the very least, be getting extra, attack, right? 60% attack and then key 1. So that's good. He's a solid leader, right? The thing that this team lacks, if we just look here, this is what it lacks, dude, is top-tier LRs. You've got this guy, and then just recently they added this guy, but there's not really a lot of other choices. You've got Majin Vegeta. He can do some really good damage with support on rotation, but unfortunately, man, he just does not have defense. LR Trunks is just, he's decent as well. If you get him an additional super attack or 2, remember that he stacks defense for 3 turns on his 12 and 18 key. So he can be solid, but you just be careful, right? Right off the rip, he might not be that strong defensively. So let's go back to UR and LR. But there's not as many options on this team. This guy's going to be a really, really good choice. A top-tier option for all that damage reduction. Prime Battle Vegeta could probably be pretty good. He does struggle for ki. I would probably hold off on him, but he can do some decent damage, I would say. Decent damage. He is, of course, limited by that flat buff to his stats. This guy is good if you get him next to other Realm of Gods units. The only problem is there's not a ton of options here, right? So basically you've got this guy. He's just reversed currently, right? You've got this guy here. This guy is decent. I found that I decided not to bring him along just because I already had a lot of STR units on the team. He's solid, though. He's got a high chance to for a one-turn stun. And then, of course... Oh, when it's a movie boss's enemy. Okay, so he's not going to have that in this stage. But he does have a high chance of guarding, which is good. But if he doesn't get his guard, he gets mollywopped, right? He really does. So that's a high-risk, high-reward type of unit. If you rock a damage reduction item, this guy still has like some of the highest APT in the game, so he can do a lot of damage for you, and at the very least, he does have defense. He does have a rage mode as well. It's kind of tough to get, though. Who else? Oh, Int Rage Trunks, dude. He's a really good option. I might consider switching out someone for that guy. He is ridiculously strong. But a lot of the units we've already gone over. Evolution Blue Vegeta would be a solid choice. It's going to be between either him and then Int Blue Vegeta. Who else? I guess the movie heroes Blue Vegeta. A lot of these, you know, Blue Vegetas, unfortunately, they just are Blue Vegeta, right? That's the problem with them. Or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, right? I mean, I guess you could rock him as a leader as well. He'd probably be a good choice as a leader, too. He's not a bad unit. He's just really basic, right? So, moving on. So, on to the youth team. Now, this, you're going to find a common thread here, right? So, like... We've got these guys again, right? So I have not grinded their links up at all. I definitely need to start. There are just so many other units I've decided to grind, but they are definitely worth, man. Again, that 70% damage reduction when they are on the rotation together is just going to be unprecedented. I mean, that is so much damage reduction. So this youth team, man, here's the thing. So if we go to the youth team, so we'll go ahead, let's go to youth. So we'll cancel. I think youth is at the bottom, right? Yeah, youth is here. There is, oh, damn it. Oops. So if we go to the youth team, we can do a build similar to what we just had, kind of like Go Tanks and like prepared for battle units, or we could do something with this guy here. If you have this guy, so he's got these Incredible Adventure and Guidance of the Dragon Ball links, which are going to be, you could easily run, you know, this guy, and then if you run him right next to her, like, she's actually pretty damn good for just a free-to-play April Fool's unit. I mean, she gets attack and defense 81% and key 9 when she attacks next to that guy. And she's got 2 of his major links active in Guidance of the Dragon Balls and Incredible Adventure. You could easily rock her, dude. She's going to be a very, very good choice. You've got these two here. Goku and Arale, man, they are a very good choice. Again, having those 2 major links, the Guidance of the Dragon Balls and Incredible Adventure. Do they have Innocence as well? What do they have? Yeah, they do have Innocence, so, I mean, they're going to fit in quite well on this team. You've got this unit here. This is the reward unit from the last round of Super Battle Road. This Goku and Bulma unit. And, again, look at this leader skill. You could easily beat this free-to-play, right? So you've got this guy, or you've got them. Who else can we rock here? I'm trying to think... who else has those links? Right offhand, I'm struggling here. Let's see. So you've got this youth Chi-Chi here. So she's obviously just reversed right now. I'm working on her SA. She does have full paths open. Dude, her Dokkan Awakening is actually ridiculous. So if we look here, man, attack 250%. Dude, 250%. So if you run her on this team with a character whose name includes Goku Youth, so that could potentially be Goku and Arale. That is just the normal Goku Youth. It could be Goku Youth and Bulma Youth, right? Like, with any one of those characters on the team, she's going to also get 150% defense, man. She is honestly, like, ridiculous. So I will definitely probably end up rainbowing her out and then using her on this team. And then just kind of for shits and gigs, like, B-Pan, right? Like, B-Pan is always going to be a good choice on any team you can run her on. So you could easily do a Go Tanks, sort of prepared for battle, you know, Super Saiyan type of build, or you could go with the Goku Youth team, right? So, I mean, it'd definitely be a good excuse to actually use this Goku. I basically never use this Goku. He's honestly good. He's got the active skill. He gets that guaranteed crit. He's got a medium chance to stun, which I feel like everyone forgets about. He does get defense the lower your HP gets. He's good, man. Like, he's good. And then he also builds up ki. which is useful for him on like pure Saiyans and stuff like that. Look at all those teams. Holy, what? So dude, is that 13 teams? Wow. Wow. So basically on any other one of those teams, it's useful that he builds up ki, right? Because no one else is basically going to have these links here, right? So the Guidance of the Dragon Balls, this is the attack link, yeah. And then of course the Incredible Adventure, right? So that's the Ki 2 link. So he really fits in well on his own team, the Dragon Ball Saga / Youth team. But then the last team, we can kind of move on from Youth, right? The last team is the Super Saiyans team. Now I'm going to give it a college try with this Goku team, but I will say the team seems to run a lot more smoothly when you're running a double Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku team, because you've got, all of a sudden, if you run each on one rotation, you've got orb changers on both rotations. You're starting out with 8 ki, just only after leader skill, right? And this guy is supremely powerful when you get him next to other Super Saiyans unit. This is where he is definitely going to shine, right? So if we look at him here, so obviously we know he's a rainbow ki changer. We know he gets additional ki per rainbow ki sphere, but he's getting this attack and defense 7% per ki sphere obtained. Plus he's getting an additional attack plus 7% per Super Saiyan's category ally, attacking in the same turn. So he's getting at a maximum 21% attack per orb if he's on rotation with 2 other Super Saiyans. So again, I do like the idea of having the better leader skill here with Goku, but I think probably, you know, either one is going to work for you. This stage is actually pretty tough, and it's just because of the units that you can use. So like right here, this is just like I wanted to promote a little bit of diversity in this video, but there's basically a common thread. Like you see like a lot of the units you're going to use multiple times. Where in the hell is Super Saiyans, man? I really need to learn the location of these teams. So let's go to UR and LR, and if we remove all, like you guys see, like this is another one of those teams that just has just insane crazy power. You could run a full team of just Dokkan Fest LRs, basically. I mean, is what you could do. You've got like, you know, Gohan Future. You've got the 3-year anniversary LR. You've got Gotenks again. Like, oh, LR Tech Broly, please. Like, he'd be a really, really good choice here. There are just so many damn units. Again, here's, you know, once he gets his EZA, of course. If you don't have Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, you can run him easily. Gohan and Goten, man. I mean, there's just so many options. If you had no other choices at all, you could probably just run a Future Saga Trunks team, right? So remember, he's got that really good leader skill, Super Class Ki 3, attack and HP attack and defense 120%. Here's Agl Gogeta again. You could probably make it work with a movie hero / fusion team. If you had, again, no other options, you could probably make that work. You know, but running this guy, he's got 80% damage reduction. He counters. Now remember, that's only on normals, right? He's going to get walloped, just absolutely walloped on super attacks. But other than that, man, he's really good. You've got AGL Bardock. Like, dude, this team is good. Oh, this guy here, Super Saiyan Gohan, right? Now, obviously on this team, he won't be able to transform, but he does infinitely stack. He's pretty damn powerful, right? But you've got this combo again. You could run this Goten and Trunks. Like, dude, I mean, the options are limitless for this category. So this is the last team that we will be covering. The last stage of the new stages of Super Battle Road is the final trump card team, led by this is basically just a full Vegito team right now. In this particular case, not really going to matter a ton who you're running as your leader. So by a rule, it's usually better to lead with Vegito because of his secondary leader skill, that Patara category leader skill. But in this particular case, it doesn't really matter because you can only bring units that belong to the final trump card category. So if we can look real quick, so let's go to final trump card real quick. There are a lot of options. This is one of the better teams in the game. It's got just some top tier units on it, right? So you could obviously lead it with this guy here. So he's going to be obviously the next best choice. If you don't have either one of them, there is one free to play. Is this guy? He's final trump card. Yes, you can lead it with this guy. This guy actually, believe it or not, I think is good enough to lead it. Only 77%. So just be careful, right? I mean, just make sure you're you know, keeping the weaker units out of harm's way. But I just do like the idea of having a full Vegito squad. That is just appealing to me. But like, for instance, this guy is like a defensive wall, right? So he gets damage reduction based on how much, between 50 and 90, based on how much HP you have. So when you're like, if you're like below 10% HP or something, you get 90% damage reduction or something. Like he's really, really good, right? Particularly if you're lower in health. So he's obviously going to be a good choice. There are a fair amount of villain units as well. Like, I mean, that's a pretty solid squad of final trump card units. So you could easily run a rotation of like Agl Zamasu. And then this Fusion Zamasu, remember that he gives 50% defense to Extreme Class Realm of Gods. So you combine that with his 40% damage reduction, all of a sudden he becomes a decent tank, right? And then you slap an item onto that, and this guy becomes invincible, right? I mean, it's not a bad setup there, right? So, and then obviously you can see like a lot of other, solid units, Super Baby 2. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like a solid linking partner. That's kind of his like big flaw, right? So, but I actually really like the prospect of running MVP 17 on this team. So if you have him as a floater, he's just constantly providing, or every 3 turns, he's providing 3 key and then 60% defense. He lowers attack and defense. He's a really, really good choice. Honestly, he's still quite a good unit. Not going to link up the best, but it doesn't matter because he's giving himself and his allies 3 key, and he will have shocking speed at least, which is a fairly common link on this team. So you do have someone like Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, again, so you could easily run him on this team. You're going to want to run him with another Saiyan Roar unit, though, so those are a little few and far between on this team. Even the other Super Saiyan 4 on this team, this guy does not have Saiyan Roar, right? That is kind of a bummer. But I would wager, so the Int Gogeta, when he comes to Global, obviously he will be on the final trump card team. But, yeah, again, all of the Vegetos, I'm trying to think of, like, other units you can run. These guys, they're definitely a good choice, and they will be good in the last stage because they get a lot of extra. Lots of extra when you have a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan on the team. So they're getting an additional attack and defense 100% and 3 key. And then when you're up against a Future Saga, they're getting another 3 key and attack 100%. And then when you're up against a Zamasu or Goku Black, they're getting 100%. And then they have their active skill. So on the last stage, you're up against a Zamasu and Goku Black. So they're going to be just ridiculously powerful. They're going to be able to have their full entire passive activated if you decide to run them. So if you ended up getting shafted on the 5-year banners, and let's say you only pulled this guy and not Vegito, then there you go. You can run Trunks and Mai. There's a solid spot for them. And they would link up well with the Vegito. They're going to have Brainiacs, Fierce Battle. He's only over in a flash, right? So I guess they would at least have 2 links with them, right? It wouldn't be horrible, right? You could run them as a floating option. But guys, this video is insanely long, and we've already been over a lot of these other units, right? So if you enjoyed this video, slap a like on it. Of course, consider subscribing if you are new. I love you guys. Thank you for your support, and I will catch all of you in the next one. Later.